the latest episode of my Knitting and Creative podcast. My name on Instagram is Orchidart and I'm coming to you from Birmingham. And this episode today is going to be a little bit different. I am due to sort of start maternity leave in about a week. I'm not having the baby yet, don't worry, because I have some annual leave owed from work. I'm actually starting a few weeks early. So I get in England we can have up to a year off maternity leave. It's not all paid. So you can have you get a certain amount of time paid off and then some time off not paid, which is up to you to take if you want to. Luckily we're in a position where we can do that. It's probably cheaper for me not to go to work than pay for childcare and go to work. Another topic entirely. And so I have been thinking about what projects I would like to work on knitting wise whilst I'm off work. Obviously it's not a year's holiday. It's going to be, I get a couple of weeks hopefully before the baby's due, where I can probably maybe work on some more complicated things. And then the baby will be here, and I guess I probably won't be knitting very much to start with. Or maybe I will, don't know, have no idea. Inga from Knitting Tradition seems to be knitting tons, but she's a knitting Wonder Woman, so, you know, I figured she probably would be. Obviously I don't know what my future's going to hold, but I have been thinking about easy-ish projects that are still interesting that I might want to work on in my couple of weeks I have off before he comes. Maybe that period of time, sort of quite easy projects around that kind of moment when he's here, and then maybe some other projects to work on over the next few months, year. It depends how much knitting I get done, I don't know. So because I have a lot of really lovely yarns in my stash, a lot of really lovely ideas, and so the last couple of weeks I've been kind of picking and choosing what I work on and saving some of those easier ones for the immediate future. So that's what this podcast is going to be about. I'm not showing any baby knit plans. These are all knits for me. And so if you're not interested in baby stuff, this episode might be interesting for some sort of knitting plans, showing yarns I already have, and yeah, maybe some inspiration, and I'll be showing photos of the patterns I intend to knit. Yes, so I don't think this episode's going to have any like cutaways or b-roll or anything like that. I think it's going to be fairly straightforward. Being in my penultimate week of work, things are very busy. I'm quite low energy. I've just finished working for the day actually, and if I don't record this now, I'm not going to get it edited in time to go up and out to you guys at a sensible time. So I'm just cracking on with it. But yeah. So hopefully everyone's doing well, and yeah, if you want to support the channel through Ko-fi, Ko-fi, whatever it's called, never know how to say it, then I have links up below. I've also linked to my Ravelry wish list for patterns in case you'd like to support the channel that way as well. Some of these projects today I haven't actually bought the pattern for yet, and a couple of them are on my Ravelry wish list, so you know, if you want to contribute to my maternity leave knitting, then feel free, but absolutely no pressure, because I will buy the patterns, so that's fine. But there we go. Where to start? I've made a little bit of a list, and I think I'm going to start with, well, I'm going to try, because I've got it all in a bit of a pile here in project bags. And they're not necessarily in the order that's on the list that makes sense to talk about. But let's see. I'm going to try and show you this basket before I start unpacking it. Oh! I don't know how well you can see this. I might be sat a bit awkwardly because what you can't see, because this is going to be the baby's room, but it is also the room I'm sleeping in at the moment. I have bathroom pieces all over this room. There's the sink is behind me, the top part on the floor. The pedestal for the sink is what this basket has been resting on. And the new toilet is in front of me. This is my life. Because those of you who've been here, I've mentioned a few times, my partner had a bit of an accident whilst he was working on the house, and so we're partway through. So we're living in slight chaos. We have about 6 weeks to deal with that before the baby's due, so we will be busy. Yes, so I can't lean back any further to show you because there is a sink on the floor that you can't see. But hopefully you can see some of them. So I'm going to balance this back on the sink to the right of me and try not to drop anything more than I need to. Right, so I have put most of these in project bags in a basket. Probably what I am going to do after this is put them all into Ziploc plastic bags inside the project bags, just to make sure they're completely bug safe. Because if I'm not going to get to some of these for a couple of months, I want to make sure that they are bug proof. So in this little bucket, I've got 2 projects, 2 summer knits planned in here. And these might be the first 2 I kind of think about working on in the next couple of weeks whilst I'm off, because then I can wear them if it ever gets warm here. It's, well, the 2nd week of June here at the moment, and it's raining and it's grey and it's not warm at all. And actually I should have mentioned what I'm wearing, because even though it's ready to wear, I have customised it. This is just like a second-hand drop shoulder acrylic black jumper that I've embroidered the shoulders on. I probably did this maybe 8 years ago. And because it's acrylic, it's quite a light, not warm jumper at all. But I really like the shape of it with like the mock neck, the drop shoulder. And I had thought about knitting something like this at some point. But this is really good when it's warmer, but you still want something a bit snuggly. Like on a day like this, like it's not cold. I mean, it's cold for the time of year, but it's not winter weather. And so I don't want to wear anything like really, really woolly at the moment. Also, my skin's gotten quite sensitive in these last few months of, last few weeks of pregnancy. So because this is acrylic, it's not irritating at all on my tummy. So anyway, that's what I'm wearing. But so the first 2 projects then that I have in mind. The first one is the Golden Oak Tank. Pretty sure that's what it's called, and I'll put a picture up wherever it looks best, and I will correct the name if I've said that wrong. And I'm going to knit it using these 2 skeins of Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the colour Copper. I've never knit with Knitting for Olive Pure Silk before, so this will be, no I haven't, this will be my first time. So I'm really excited, and it's a lovely tank top that has a bit of lace along the bottom, and then like I think quite chunky rib situation going up, and then straps. And I thought that would be a really nice, fairly quick summer knit. I can, you know, do the lace whilst I'm off and relaxing, and I've got the brain space, and then either finish it before he comes or save the easier bit for later. That's not a problem. And I thought the shape of it might be quite good if I do end up breastfeeding, but if not, it's a lovely summer top, so I'm really excited to knit that one. And then the second one in here, I have 3 skeins of Sanders Garn Lena in the colour 8521. Which I think is like pale green or something, and it's quite a lovely pale sage seafoam green colour, and it is a cotton viscose linen blend, and it is trying to work out how many meters it is. Does it not say? 50 grams is 110 meters. So I've got 3 of these, and I want to knit the retro tank top, which, and again, I'll try and do the images here, has quite thick straps and has buttons down the front and is quite cropped. I did want to knit it also in a rust orange. The colour that they have in this yarn, terracotta, is quite really nice rust colour, but I couldn't find it in stock anywhere, and I want to knit it soon, so I went ahead and bought this colour instead. But I did kind of want to do it in the terracotta colour, which is the colour that's in the pattern pictures actually. But I'm hoping this one will still get a lot of wear. And I think it's something that you would probably wear over dresses or high-waisted skirts and things. And again, I thought it might be quite good for this summer and this next season of my life. But for those of you who aren't in the same kind of time of life as me, I think it's a really cute top and would look really good just over any kind of high-waisted short, like shorts or trousers or skirts, or over a strappy dress or something like that. I don't know, I think it'd be really nice. I've had my eye on it for a while, so I'm looking forward to knitting it, but I've been putting it off because you knit it flat. Somebody did suggest that you could perhaps modify it and knit it in the round and do a faux button placket, but I thought I actually quite like the idea of being able to undo the buttons, given that that might be useful in the next few months for me. But if not, I kind of like it when a button placket is real and not faux, and if I'm going to have a bit more time on my hands, then knitting flat isn't such a big deal. And besides, you know, it's quite a thick yarn, it probably isn't going to take that long. So yes, so that's my two main summer knits. I have already knit one of them, not one of those two. It was on my list that I was going to do a summer ranunculus, but I think if you saw my last video, I've already made it. And if I didn't share it in my last video, I'll share it in the next one, because I can't remember what I shared in my last one at this moment. So that's my two kind of summer projects. And then I'm kind of looking at shawls, winter accessories and jumpers. So let's start with this biggest, oh god, basket. And I've rather stuffed it in here, so this obviously isn't an appropriate bag for this yarn. I'll have to find like a better, probably it'll be a box or a basket, because that's how I tend to handle my unspun yarn. So this is some unspun yarn. It's 2 strands on the plate, and I bought this at the Woolly Good Festival. Can't remember the name of it or anything about it, to be honest, but if you are interested in details of it, because it's this really nice colour, it's kind of got teals and pinks and purples and yellows and greens in there. If you are interested in knowing more about it, I do share more in my Wonderwool video that I made a few weeks ago. And I have 2 of these. And I was going to knit a jumper, some kind of colourwork jumper with it, but that would mean probably unravelling it and so that it was all one-stranded. And I don't want to do that. So I recently unravelled my Unarmoured Defence Cowl by Katt Weaver, because the yarn that I had knitted in was too tightly spun and thin, and it looked a bit strangled. And so I decided actually it'd be really nice to re-knit it in this. And it is quite a simple knit, but it's unspun, so probably not something you want to knit on if a toddler's tugging around. But maybe it's something that I could knit this autumn whilst he's still not moving around. I don't know, maybe those of you with more experience can tell me. But I thought that that would be quite nice, and then I can make one with quite a nice chunky neck and quite generous in the fit, because it's like a collar with a bit of a body, and mine was just too skimpy before. So I think I can make a much nicer one with this, so that's exciting. What was that noise? There was a noise, it was not the phone, so I don't know what that noise was. It might be the diffuser. We shall see. If everything stops, you know why. I'm just checking my list for what to mention next. What's in here? So the next thing, and this might be something more for when he first comes, or I don't have any brain space. So I, over the last couple of months, have just been keeping my eye out whilst I've been, you know, in places for some nice sock yarns. And so when I was in America, I picked up 2 skeins of Kroy sock yarn in like this, it'll be like self-patterning, and I thought that would be, I mean I wasn't pregnant at the time that I bought it, but I was trying to be, and I thought it'd be quite a nice thing to work on in the hospital. And the other day I found this one, which is Lang sock yarn, in my stash, and I thought that would make quite nice heels and toes. So I could knit a very nice cozy pair of socks for the winter using these. And I also had this in my stash, which I bought a few months ago. I was ordering yarn from somewhere, and I just needed one skein of yarn, and I didn't want to order one skein of yarn. So I ordered this, and it's the Biches lay sock yarn, which is 80% wool, 20% nylon, made in the UK, and it's 400 meters for 100 grams. And so I thought these would make quite nice Christmas socks because it's like a ready gold combo. However, the colourway is called Autumn Forest, but to me it's more of like a Christmas yarn. So I'm quite enjoying that. So that's, you know, 2 pairs of socks that I might knit this autumn. And if you are interested, that project bag is one by Knitting Nelly, which I bought a couple of years ago when I was in America. I obviously don't have a project picture for the socks because, or a pattern picture, sorry, because I will just knit plain vanilla socks. I might hold the Biches one double when I knit them and make more like DK socks because the yarn does look quite fine. And maybe that would be more cozy, I don't know. We shall see when I get to it. What's this one? So this is another accessory project. So this is something that I thought would be really nice and cozy to work on in the winter. And it is the Bakker shawl, maybe I've said that wrong, by Fibre Tales. I saw her wearing it. I mean, I'm a sucker for anything by Fibre Tales. I haven't knit that many of her patterns, but I love her podcast. I love her aesthetic. I love everything she makes. And so when this one came out, I did actually buy it with the discount code. And when I bought the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, around that time, was it No Frills Knitting was having like a reasonable bank holiday sale, 20% off or something. And so I bought those 2, and then I bought a new plate of green Plutlopi, which is in the bottom of the bag. In the colour 1421, and it's the green that's got like blue and yellow in it. But she only had one plate left in stock. I don't know whether with this bit, because I don't know how much of a plate this is, but it doesn't look like it's probably half a plate, maybe. Maybe not, I'm not really sure. I think I need 2 plates to knit the shawl, so I might need to buy another one. But that's not really the end of the world, it's not an expensive yarn. The expensive component was more the silk mohair. And so she had in the shop with the 20% off the Kremke, oh, I'm dropping yarn, the Kremke Soul Wool Silky Kit in the colour 16, I think, because I think the other one's the colour lot. And it's a fairly standard silk mohair. But because these were 20% off and I had most of a skein of Plutlopi left and she had a plate in stock, I thought it was a good time to stock up on yarn for that pattern, and it'd be the perfect pattern to work on this autumn. So I'm looking forward to knitting on that one. So I'm trying to put it back in without dropping things everywhere. It's a little bit tricky. But to be honest, I probably need more of that yarn anyway because I still have a green hat knit in that yarn which I need to make a bit bigger. So I probably could do with a 3rd skein. And this is in my beautiful Wool and Nature naturally dyed project bag. You're also getting a bit of a show off of my project bag collection. And so that's probably the simplest shawl that I'm looking on casting on, I think. I do have a couple of other shawls planned. Do I have the yarn for them here? Just looking, there was that one. So I'm also thinking definitely I'd like to knit up this autumn. You can see I've got too many ideas and I'm not going to get through them all. I really want to knit my Advent shawl by Knotty Pine Fibre Co. So last year I signed up massively indulgently to her advent calendar and I do not regret it. It was so beautiful. And I thought, wouldn't that be the perfect thing to knit whilst I've got a newborn, because the beauty and the, I guess, the exciting part of that project, I want to be showing off the yarn. So I want to pick a really simple shawl pattern for the advent. It's a full 24-day mini skein advent. I did sell on the main skein that came with it because I didn't like it to someone who really loved it. But yeah, so I'm hoping, so I'll put a picture up of the advent calendar I've got, but I also haven't settled on the pattern yet. So if anybody has any good ideas of patterns I could knit with it, please let me know. I want it to be something quite easy that I can pick up and put down and not worry about too much, because I kind of thought that if I let the yarn shine, then I can pick something easy, and then that might be really good for when I don't have time to think. So that's a shawl idea. And I did think I might knit the satellite shawl because I've got the yarn for that and I've got the pattern for that. I'll put a picture up. I've got some really lovely variegated mohair in blues, a lace weight sort of greyish blue yarn, some lace weight kind of yellowy yarn, and a few other bits and bobs that look really lovely. But I think that's unrealistic. I'm going to get to that one this year because that's already 2 shawls and I'm not done with my ideas of projects. So I'm looking at my list. But yes, so that's kind of my shawl plans. So the last few things I've got to share with you then, I think, are all jumpers. I think. What's this one? Oh no, I've got one more accessory. So the last accessory I was thinking about doing, which I'd kind of hoped I'd already done by now, but I haven't even started it, so that's not going to happen. Unless I cast on next, which I might do. I want to knit the Pressed Flowers cowl using these yarns. So this is a DK weight yarn I got whilst I was at Rhinebeck last year, and it's absolutely stunning. Feels so soft. I haven't got the label here, so I don't know what it is. But I think it's got alpaca in it, and that's why it's so soft. I then have this knitting for olive mohair in the colour Soft Rose, and some naturally dyed linen silk and something else blend from Woollenflower. And so I'm going to hold these together as the flowers and this as the main yarn, so it'll be flowers main colour. And that might be the next project I cast on for me, maybe. I think I said that about the linen tank, didn't I? Here, I can knit both at the same time. If I knit the lace portion of the tank and then cast this on, then I have an easy and a harder at the same time. And this is just a little bag that I bought when I went to Taproot in Portland, Maine, the year before when we went to America. I'm just throwing them all onto the bed. So that is all of the accessories, and then next I've got 3 potential jumpers. So I'll start with the one that I'll probably end up casting on the first out of the jumpers, and that is, I have a sweater's quantity of Brume Aran weight by Daughter of a Shepherd, which I bought on sale at Wonderwool a couple of weeks ago. I really love Daughter of a Shepherd's yarn. I have previously knit the Birds of a Feather shawl using the 4-ply Brume, which I have this much left of. And so I have 4 of these in Aran weight and this in 4-ply, which I thought if I needed to stretch my meterage, I could hold double or triple for ribbing or cuffs or whatever. And I'm going to knit a cosy ranunculus with it. I absolutely love my summer ranunculus, and I thought given how little yarn I used for that, probably 600 metres of this is enough for a long sleeve, longer body winter ranunculus. And I would like to cast this on right now, but I'm not going to, because again, I think it would make quite a nice autumn project. Maybe I'll cast it on after I've done my summer tops. And this is in my Blue Rabbit House bag. I love this bag. The only thing I will say with Blue Rabbit House bags, I find them really hard to pull closed. They always end up with a bit of a gap, so I don't find it very secure. But it is very good quality. I really like the image. Yeah, I love it. And this is a good size. This isn't the biggest size. I initially did order the biggest size, and I bought it from a shop in England, I think Tangled Yarn. But I had such a massive gap when I was trying to close it that I really didn't get on with it, and it was just too big. And so she did let me exchange it for, I think this is the medium size, which suits me much better because I can still get my sweater's quantity of yarn in here and a shawl or whatever else, not at the same time, but I found it plenty big enough for most of my projects. So I've been enjoying that one. And whilst we're on the ranunculus, I have another sweater's quantity of yarn that I want to knit a ranunculus with. I have 6 of these Aran weight alpaca skeins that I naturally dyed myself using indigo and maybe onion skins, I'm not sure. And these were, I have 2 skeins of 50 grams, so 100 grams of lace weight silk mohair that was indigo dyed by somebody else, but I over dyed it with probably onion skins. And so I should have enough, more than enough I think, to hold together and make another long sleeve ranunculus. Only this one would be a bit fancy. The rest of the yarn is in a plastic bag inside here, so I'm not going to get it out, but this should show you the yarns. I did notice the other day when I was looking at it though, most of the alpaca is still in skein form. So that's another 5 skeins of yarn to wind up. It's not all in balls. So that might be a bit tedious. It is what it is. And then the last one, which I did want to knit last autumn but didn't get around to it. And I'm not going to open it up because it's quite well organised in here. But maybe I have some nicer photos somewhere else. But I have some yarn here to knit the Alpenglow by Andrea Mowry. I already have the pattern for it, but I think I'm going to steek it and turn it into a cardigan instead, probably. Depends when I get around to knitting it. So I have 3 skeins of the Scout by Kelbourne Woolens in like a teal colour. I have 1 skein of Spin Cycle, is it Dyed in the Wool? Yeah, Dyed in the Wool, in the colour Deep Bump. And then I have some leftovers, some Surrey alpaca, some naturally dyed alpaca in yellowy colours, and then some orange as well. So I'm hoping I have enough of this one, which is Presley by Garthenol, rather than using these 2 because these are actually a superwash yarn, and I'd rather not use superwash in this jumper. I'd rather use that to make something for the baby. But yeah, so Alpenglow as a cardigan, maybe. I'm currently knitting the Ovis sweater as a cardigan, so we'll kind of see how that goes. And then, which I have done that with a pattern before, I knit the Beetle Magic by Katie Greenbean with a steek down the front. So from the beginning I intended to turn it into a cardigan, because I hate knitting flat. I don't like knitting cardigans, so unless they're in the round. But yeah, that's kind of my main plans. So that's 3 or 4 jumpers, 2 or 3 shawls, 2 pairs of socks, 2 cowls. That's obviously, that probably is a year's worth of knitting. And on top of that, I want to knit some kids things as well. So we'll see how far I get. But I really like the idea that I have really lovely projects sitting there waiting to go that I can just pick up and crack on with. I don't have to worry about, you know, going and buying yarn or making plans, or, you know, they're all there for me, which brings me some comfort knowing that I still have lovely things to work on, even if I'm going to be stuck at home a lot, or tired, or I don't know, got other things to think about. So let me know if you've knit any of those, or whether you would like to knit any of them, or whether you've got any ideas for my Advent shawl, or yeah, just any thoughts on any of those projects. But yeah, let's see how many I actually do end up knitting over the next year. Will be interesting to look back on. And yes, I'll talk to you soon.